I just got back, guys. I just got back from seeing Wicked for Good, and all I have to say is, I liked it a lot. Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to rewind. So it took me like 3 or 4 days to get through the first Wicked movie. It was long. It was almost 3 hours. And now that I've seen part 2, there was a lot of focus on Galinda, and who's played by Ariana Grande, and Elphaba, who's played by Cynthia Erivo's friendship, how they met. And it was pretty exhausting, in my opinion. Now, I know that this is loosely based on the Wicked book. I only got like through 100 pages of the Wicked book because it was pretty out there, pretty vulgar, pretty like dark, a lot of violence. It is not for children. It's definitely not for children. And I don't think the Wicked movies are necessarily for children, but they've lightened it up a lot. They've cleaned it up a lot. So like there was a showing for kids, and then there was the smaller screening without kids, and that's the one without kids. That's the one I selected. Ain't nobody get it. And look, I love the kids. However, I don't want to watch movies with them. So getting back to movie reviews with Fee, I forgot to say that. Wicked for Good, a lot of action. So if I'm going to like dissect the movie, I'm gonna do a quick review of part 1. So part 1, we meet Elphaba. We know that she is the product of an adulterous affair her mother had. She's born green, and she is bullied, shunned. Her father hates her because I know deep down he probably thinks she's not his child because he has a second child who's not green. However, because the mother wanted to keep her from being green, she was drinking all this, potion, and the daughter came out without being able to walk. So we have, the Nessa, who is the daughter who's in the wheelchair, Elphaba. Nessa, the father sends her away to school, and then he sends Elphaba to look after her. That's when Elphaba, because the, oh my gosh, Michelle Yeoh's character, I can't think of her name. Well, she is like the headmistress of the school, and she sees all this potential in Elphaba. So she basically enrolls Elphaba in the school. Then there's this Dancing Fiyero, who's going to be the love triangle between the 3 of them. And long story short, Elphaba gets a ticket to Oz, and lo and behold, she drags Galinda with her. Now, the 2 characters, how they're written in the book is different than how they're portrayed in the movie, but I'm going to focus on the movie. Elphaba has this hidden magic that she doesn't know how to control. It surfaces whenever she's very angry or very afraid or, have intense emotions. And then you have Galinda, who she really, really wants magic. She's the pretty, prissy, soft one, and she doesn't have magic. However, she and Elphaba, they strike up this likely friendship, and Elphaba allows her to tag along, and I was annoyed with that. I'm just like, I know this is the plot and it's how we move the plot along, but girl, can't you just have your moment instead of inviting the girl who has everything to steal your shine once again, because that's what happens in part 2. So part 2, the end of part 1, Elphaba gets blamed for stuff she didn't do, and because the wizard is a fraud, she finds out he's a fraud, and that Michelle Yeoh's character wants to use Elphaba's magic for evil. Like, she makes her read out of the Grimoire, which is like this spell book, and she puts the spell on the monkeys so that they sprout wings. But she's also, Elphaba was friends with her professor, who is the goat, and not like greatest of all time, but like an actual goat. And the Michelle Yeoh's character, they want the to cast a spell to prevent animals from speaking so that they can be beasts of burden and they can oppress them. So Elphaba is just like the social justice warrior, and Galinda is like sugar and spice and everything nice and pink. There's a lot of pink. But part two, what I liked about part two, it's shorter than part one, and you actually have action going on. This is where you get the meat of the story. This is where there's going to be conflict with Fiyero. Is he going to choose to follow his heart and be with Elphaba and help her fight the good fight? Or is he going to live the good life with Galinda, although he doesn't love her? And then, you know, we see the catalyst behind a lot of the spells that the Wicked Witch, which is Elphaba, cast on like the what do you call that? The people of Oz, the Munchkins. The Munchkins, how the monkeys got their wings, how the Scarecrow becomes a Scarecrow, how the Tin Man becomes the Tin Man, and how the lion becomes cowardly. And it's all of these, although it is Elphaba, it isn't as cut and dry as The Wizard of Oz makes it seem. So you can watch the movie to find out all of that. But what I want to say is that overall, it's a beautiful movie. It's a lot of color. It's a lot of beautiful costumes. There's a lot of dancing and a lot of singing. In my opinion, there was too much singing. And there was too much singing in part one. They literally could have cut an hour off of part one, and it may have been on par with part two. So I like part two better. Part two, you get the amalgamation of the Wicked story with the Wizard of Oz. And although I like the fact that they don't really show Dorothy's face, they kind of show her profile and her in shadows, etc. And we see how that story really is at the end of the Wicked tale. So I don't want to give, this isn't like scene by scene, beat by beat breakdown. But when I watch part one, I'm going to talk about the characters, like the actors and actresses. When I watched part one, I thought, okay, this cast is miscast. And after I watched part two, I thought the story in part one just wasn't giving a lot for them to do, except for singing. Because Fiyero, the guy who plays Fiyero, he really shone in part two. Erivo really shone. I mean, she's good in both, but I just like the action part. There was a lot of, escaping and running away. The stuff you want to see to get the movie going, so you're not just like, oh my gosh, what time is it? What time is it? Because that's how I felt watching part one. Ariana Grande, I read some, reviewers paying her performance, but I liked it. I liked the aloof kind of, space cadet version of Galinda. And I have to preface this, I don't want to offend Ariana Grande's fans, but I'm not a huge fan of her voice here. I don't know if that was a deliberate choice by the producer or the director to have her sing like really, she was always in her head voice with that nasal resonance, like a lot. So she has this light, airy singing, which is done in moderation is beautiful, which is done all the time, it's annoying. So every time she got ready to sing a song, I was just like rolling my in her eyes. The eyes in my spirit were rolling. And then you have Cynthia Erivo, who's really bringing it, honey. She is bringing that Broadway soul vocal. Like, even when she goes for her nasal resonance, she doesn't stay there long. She's going to give you a run. She's going to give you a belt. She's going to give you a sustained note. She's going to let you know why she is here and why she deserves to be here. I will say I've seen some commentary about Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande on their press tour. How, a lot of people don't like the press tour. And they're saying that how skinny they both appear. Well, in the movie, Cynthia Erivo, she seems like she has an athletic build. Ariana Grande, so I watched this with my friend Latifah. Shout out to Latifah. And she commented on her collarbones. She's like, oh my gosh, those collarbones. I said, but you can see her chest bones. Like, she looks unhealthily thin. And I know it's, gauche to talk about women's bodies, because I don't know what she's going through. I don't know if she's I'm not one to diagnose her. But I'm like, is that healthy to show little girls this beautiful princess and her, like, upper, you can see the, like, bones in her chest? And I don't know. I know that's not a healthy image, but I know I'm not talking about an image. I'm talking about a human. So I want to, tread lightly with my words. But it was distracting. I just kept thinking, like, she's so thin. Like, oh my gosh, she's so thin. And then she looked pale. Like, and I know she used to tan and all that stuff. So maybe this is her natural color, but it just made me think she wasn't eating enough. And so it gave her like a look of someone who hasn't eaten enough. So that was distracting for me. The character who plays Fiyero and Cynthia Erivo, I like them individually. I didn't like them together. I like the idea of them together, but they didn't have a lot of chemistry. Like, so they're playing like this, their love interest, but it's a love triangle. It's almost like you'll see like Elphaba touch him, and then, or he'll touch her, and then she'll turn away, and then the scenes where they're actually forced to kiss or whatever, that's the camera turns and you don't really see them kiss for real. And I understand maybe they just didn't want to do that, and that's fine, but it just took away from the believability of their romance. But overall, Jeff Goldblum as the wizard, I think it worked well. He was cast pretty good. I like Michelle Yeoh's characters. I read there's something about she being miscast. I thought she was great. I thought she did her singing parts fine. I'm just kind of addressing some of the things I've seen online. But if you just want to watch the movie for watching the movie's sake, I would say go see it in the theaters. It's worth it. It is like over 2 hours long, but not as long as the first one. And because there's a lot of action, that time seems to move further along. So have you seen it? What were your impressions? Am I totally off base, out of space? Let me know.